Babies? Now, I had a feeling this girl was up to something. Weeks ago, she heavily reinforced her main chamber with thick white silk. Now, this is an indicator of one of two things. Either she's getting ready to shed her skin, which is what I honestly suspected. I've had this girl for quite a few months now. Or two, she has created a nursery fit for egg laying, which is obviously what had happened. So I was getting ready to give this girl a feed, because I'd given her quite a few weeks thinking she was in there, sealed up, shedding her skin, not wanting to feed, not showing any interest in food, but she was legs out hunting when I dropped this woody in, so she was definitely interested. She showed a lot of reluctance in her striking. She was very delicate, not wanting to pounce with much intensity. So I really had to kind of nudge the food items. So I helped her out and gave her a nudge. But when she pulled that woody down into the main chamber, something pretty crazy happened. Babies. Babies just started erupting from the burrow. The mother's feeding must have triggered this. There's probably a lot more commotion than these guys are used to going on in that chamber right now. So I rounded those little escape artists up, got the lid on. He's already starting to tunnel, hide himself at least. While many of the spiderlings burrow overnight, some of them just refuse to settle and climb the edges. And I've given them a few nights to settle in and they're still just flat out refusing to settle. This is interesting to me. Does this show some instinct to disperse, or is there an awareness of population density? These guys have already been down on the ground, seen that their brothers and sisters have set up shop, and they don't want to be cannibalized, they don't want to compete. Either way, whichever trade it is, it will benefit the species. We wait 2 days before rehousing, allowing them to settle and become more manageable. In the meantime, I'll get some tools ready. We've got some cocoa peat that we prepared earlier. That'll be the substrate for these little guys. And I've got some spiderling containers. These are pretty shallow, these containers, but this is a surface dwelling species we're going to be rehousing. That's what they're like. Got some tools to help us deal with the spiderlings. These guys are far too small to be able to use your hands to maneuver them. There's no way you're going to be able to pick one up off the table here if it gets down on it. But with these nice soft paintbrushes, we can help guide the spiderling. And this straw here, if we can guide her into the straw, which is a nice dark tube that she'll just want to run straight down. And then we can just pick her up and tap her out wherever we want her. This is very helpful actually for dealing with little spiderlings. Paintbrushes are good for spiders of any size. And this was the tub. And you can see we've got a couple little bugs up on the edge there. I'll get these spiderling tubs done up and then we'll start rehousing. Okay, so 4 of the 12 we have sphagnum moss. In the middle here we have some structures. These are nice little pieces of agate and a little bit of quartz there, just something nice to look at. And 4 of them are bare. The reason I've done this is I don't know too much about the behaviour of these little spiderlings, and I'm wanting to do a housing test. Will these guys prefer top cover, heavy structures, or just bare soil? I wanted to do this to better understand the behaviour and preferences of this species, as I've never raised Escharcara from spiderlings before, nor have I seen any information on breeding or raising in captivity. Will these guys utilise the shaggy top cover? Will they create their burrows with the aim of the best camouflage available to them? Will they follow edges and heavy structures? Will they let the hard lines they come across in nature dictate where they will place their burrows, following the edges of containers or burrowing under the stone? Or do they just prefer the bare soil beneath, going down low to where the moisture is? I honestly don't know, so I'm going to run this little test and hopefully we'll find out. The rehousing. Now this video could easily have been 40 minutes long. Rehousing these guys is slow, delicate work. I won't show rehousing them all, but here is a few. Beautiful. I could keep them housed with the mother. She's not a threat to them at this size. And I could feed them in here, and the food items probably wouldn't entice Mum too much. She'd probably ignore them and leave them to the bubs. But in a few sheds it'll become a problem once they are being picked up on her her range as food sized. And they'll start being recycled. And I don't want that. And I'm not sure I got the spider. Let's see. Yep, definitely got the spider. I hope you can pick this up on the GoPro. These spiders are freaking adorable. They're so cute. As soon as you touch it with the paintbrush, the whole structure moves. You can see it's all in one piece.
The young's burrows are basically a divot in the substrate, with more substrate webbed into a protective camouflaged sac. This sac is fitted with 2 trapdoors at either end. It's all detached now.
Let me pick it up. It looks like that would be one. It's slightly raised. I also set up small burrows on 3 of the 12 containers up against the edge. I don't expect them to use these. Oh, gorgeous. That one's got a little lid. Oh, overachiever.
Look at that little guy. Those tiny little legs. That's a second entrance, wasn't it? Impressive.
Stop it. Beautiful. A few more babies than I anticipated. There's probably more like 30 altogether in this litter. I have no idea how many more are still in that chamber.
So now we have 18 separated Eschakara with an unknown number still in the mother's enclosure. I'll allow the spiderlings another few days to settle in before we tally what the 18 test spiderlings chose as preference. We found that 11 of the 18 let edges, the hard edges, define where they set up their burrow. So this is either the edges of the rocks or, more commonly, the harder edge of the container. The burrow was set up alongside an edge. 3 of the 18 were just on the flats, irrelevant of the decor or structures or edges of the container. And 4 of the 18 went under the structure, mainly under sphagnum moss. But overall, it's definitely the edges, hard edges, that dictate where these guys set up their burrows. And that does make a lot of sense. Prey insects will follow hard edges and walk along structures. Letting edges dictate burrow placement would funnel prey right into the strike zone. So I also went ahead and had a look at some of the burrows inside the mother's enclosure after separating. I've marked a few of them, and I've done a communal feeding. That'll be for another video. That's going to be fun. These guys are very impressive from the get-go. We'll also be feeding some of the Cataxia polleni spiderlings. They've been doing well. So yeah, that's all for this week's video. Thank you heaps for watching, guys, and making it all the way to the end. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and hang around for next time. Thank you.